Hi, how are you? Oh.
Can you hear me?
It's a little bit delayed, but yeah, I can hear you. 1 second. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, hi.
Hi, how are you doing? It's a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you. You too. I'm very excited to do this. A little bit nervous, actually.
Why nervous? You shouldn't be nervous. Chill
I know,
out,
I know.
relax.
Okay.
Now just give me a second.
Go ahead.
Okay. Cool. So with our chat and everything, I think this is me interviewing you, correct? Or so how
Yeah.
are we? Yeah, cool. Because you two an interviewer, so yeah, it's just like, wait, how's this happening? Okay. So basically, my main format is that I would be like, hey, hello, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And then I'd ask you for your own introduction. So you feel free to introduce yourself however you want.
Yeah.
And then followed by the short intro, we do, well, how were you growing up? Now, I get it. We're still growing up. We're younger over here. And then you sort of take it from there as to how you started, what have you been doing. Now, talk as much as you want. You can ask me questions too. So I'd like for it to be a fun conversation rather than a straight-faced interview kind of thing. Because when I get bored, I fall asleep. So I just don't want that to happen. Because I'm already like, I've been working all day, so I'm like, just like take me a second to doze off.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So this is about 30 minutes. Is your schedule okay with that?
Yeah, completely fine. I don't have anything to do just at all in the morning, so.
Okay, that's amazing. I record this. I put this up on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And my main place is LinkedIn, but I'll tag you so you can also share it out. And if you want the because you already started the recording, but I need the recording right here, so I can have it on my laptop and then upload it and stuff. So.
Yeah, I can send you there's like a viewers link, and then from there you can download that.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you so much. Because I don't have the recording permission here. So that's why I can record on my laptop.
It is recording, don't worry.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, thank you. I think we should just start it off. So, I can edit it, cut it off a little bit. So yeah. Thanks. Okay, it's a little weird starting like this. So yeah. Hello, everybody. Hope all of you guys are doing well. I'm doing well, just so you know. Today we have such a special person here with us, Netra. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you so much for agreeing for the interview. We'll start as usual with your brief introduction, and then we'll kickstart this conversation.
Hi, I'm so stoked to be here. Very excited. It's an absolute pleasure to meet you. So I'm Netra Venkatesh. I'm 15. And I'm currently a student in the UAE. So along with being a student, I have started up an organization called SpunkGo, and this is my main area of interest right now. SpunkGo is an all-girls global organization where we hold monthly life skill webinars on various topics from entrepreneurship to well-being and mindfulness. And all of these webinars are hosted by successful women professionals and entrepreneurs themselves. The main target here is to empower women in countries like Kenya, Malawi, and all over East Africa and East Asia to do better in their lives, as I know that most of them don't have the access to free education. Some of them have not completed higher standards of education. And I feel with these free webinars, they would be able to be informed. Our organization also does social media marketing and making websites for budding entrepreneurs and businesses. Thank you.
Well, that's truly something. That's really amazing, and this is the kind of initiative that I'd really love to be part of. So now, how did it all start, and how were you like growing up? I get it. I believe you're 15 years old.
Yeah.
You're quite young. I'm 14, like, you're older than me. So how were you like growing up? How did it really start for you? How did you have the realization that this is needed, and I'm gonna be contributing to this need?
So I kind of started before this. I hadn't really thought about education. I didn't think about, other people and kind of like what they needed. And it was only until the pandemic hit. So the organization is only a year and 3 months old, so just over a year. And during this pandemic, everybody obviously went online and schools closed. A lot of universities started losing a lot of money because obviously their students weren't coming into campus. And I realized there is this whole need for education, and it's so expensive in some places that people can't afford it because there is economic inequality. And we have this opportunity. We have platforms, we have the internet. Today is like a global and digital world. We can make this available to everyone. So I kind of wanted to explore the concept of online learning, which had already kind of been a thing now that the pandemic hit. I actually took a course at a pretty prestigious university, and the course was, yeah, it taught me things, but I realized that impact that online education had, and I kind of started off with that idea that I wanted to help people and I wanted to spread education to those who didn't really have the opportunity or had no standards for higher education just because of the area that they lived in and the way they grew up. And so I kind of started off just contacting a few people. I held my first webinar with a pretty elite company here. They are known for student counseling, so like college counseling. And the main person, I think the Middle Eastern branch head, she had started up her own initiative, and I thought it was really cool. And I wanted people to know and people to be informed about her and how she could inspire others to do what she was doing and tell them, this isn't that hard. You can do it as well, and I can help you. And so from then on, I kind of wanted to do a series of interviews. As you said, we're both interviewers, and I started with interviews, but then I realized there are these community of people, and I want to help them. I want to empower them, not just to educate. And so we came up with leaders and ambassadors, and we're currently in 30 countries all over the world.
Well, I mean, that's amazing. And I really do feel like that, because I've been learning online for a long time, and I'm working towards actually like moving full time to like a full-time online high school. I'm starting this Monday, so makes sense.
Good luck.
So I mean, I feel like it makes a lot of impact, and it makes it very, very easy, even though if you're in the same country, but like going every day, even if it's like, a small course, going every day, you've got to travel, you've got to be there in person, and then you've also got to dress up. The thing with online stuff is you could just be in your pajamas all day. So I feel like there's multiple advantages, and the impact could be global rather than just confined to a certain area, and then even like a certain city or a country, because then anybody from anywhere could join in. So in total, how many sessions have you done? And when you see the impact, how does it feel? I mean, I bet it feels amazing.
Yeah, I've had people come in with testimonies, and they're like, you really have helped me. And I don't know, it never occurred to me that I did help these people. And now I'm realizing that it makes me feel amazing that these women are empowered, they're inspired to start something in their own lives. I think I've held around over 20 sessions. So this has been over the past year or so. I think we did 2 per month. We started out with 1, and then we eventually grew on to 2 per month. We have a partnership with a women speakers organization named Keynote. They've been providing us speakers from their directory and faculty members, and we've hit like a milestone. I think the biggest milestone would be to go to 100 webinars.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a big number to hit, because I feel like it takes a lot of work behind a webinar. People don't realize that, because I organize a lot of webinars. Mainly what I do is for the love, care, and respect of children. So I organize on that pretty specifically, but I have been doing multiple on different topics as well lately. And I feel like getting the speakers ready, getting the posters ready, getting the emails, getting people pumped up for it. And the main thing is then, finding speakers for you, is easy because of the partnership. And even then, last moment, I've always had in every event, there's always a person or two that doesn't even bother showing up or sending a message, like, hey, I won't be able to make it. Just to make sure, please have some backup. I used to have, like, the first webinar I did was like, okay, so I need 6 people from like, these different fields to provide a perspective on peace. I invited 6 people, 3 of them showed up. And then I'm like, no, next time I'd be inviting at least 9 people so that some show up. And then, webinar math, there's time conversions, everything. So is it just you that deals with it? Is it a whole team? Walk us through that.
So I started off with myself. Obviously, I had the idea. And I was like, okay, yeah, cool idea. Nothing more. And I think my dad overheard me. I was just like talking to myself, and my dad was like, this is a really cool initiative. I think you should start it up. So initially my dad was like, you know what, let me help you find speakers. I can help you with whatever you want to learn. And he was really a big support in this. And then as it grew, we have people now managing social media. We have people sending out email marketing, and we have a whole team. I'd say I do still have a big role in it. It's a little bit about me not wanting to, completely give it over, but it is mostly me, and there are quite a few people in other departments like marketing.
Well, that's truly something. And it's so cool that you mentioned your dad, because I feel like my mom and dad have been a big support throughout this. How has your family been? Do you have any siblings, or is it just you?
I have one sibling. She is 9 years old, and I first started up SpunkGo. She's like, I'm gonna take it over one day. One day when you go off to college or whatever, I'm gonna be the next person there. And so she's very excited about this. My mom has always been supportive of everything I have been doing. So she's always been very happy about it. She's like, I'd be happy to recommend you people for speakers. And I think my dad has been the biggest support. He really pushed me to do this because it does take a lot of work. It takes a lot of organization and dedication. And I guess I just didn't think that through, and I didn't want to do it. And I was like, I just want to create that product. I don't want to put in the work and effort. And he really pushed me because it's a cause I'm rooting for. It's an impact I'm trying to make. It doesn't come without the work. So my dad has been the biggest support in my whole family, even extended family. My grandparents sometimes attend webinars, and a few people ask me, I know that your like population is from like younger ages, from like 14, 20, 25. I see a few senior citizens there. I'm like, yeah, those are my grandparents there.
Yeah, and I feel like that is literally how Desi families are, that be Indian or Pakistani families. And that's how supportive they are, because I remember it's from like a few days ago, because our grandparents were living with us, and I'm like, I hear something familiar. I've heard it before. I see on the TV they're playing my interviews back to back, and I'm like,
I love that. That's so cute.
Yeah. And my grandpa's brother was over, and they're like, look at that. So that's our family entertainment, and I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to, feel bad about it or something, but it's awkward seeing my big, huge face talking. And
it is.
It's awkward. It's still awkward. But I feel like it's gotten better. But there's just ways that they support. And my dada, he keeps on like, he wanted to make a Facebook to follow me, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so sweet. And what about your friends? Like, I mean, I hope you still hang out with people. I have my person. I used to have like a huge group of friends, but like to keep up with all of their interests is so hard. Like to keep up with K-pop, to keep up with the 1D drama, everything is just so hard. So I'm like, I could just keep up with one person. That's Zara. That's my person. What about you?
So I guess over the years, I think naturally when you grow up, you just kind of realize like it's not about how many friends you have. It's really just the quality of the people. And most of my friends that I have right now, I've got like my little group of friends, which is around 4 to 5 people that I like to hang out with at school. And then I have my best friend. My best friend is currently, I have one in Dubai and another one in Texas. She moved just about last year, and it was a really hard thing for me to go through, but I did move on. I did get over it. And now we're both living our lives together in separate places. And so I guess moving on, she's been very supportive. I told her about the initial process. So like maybe a month after I started up, I was like, look, I'm doing this. And she's like, wow, this is so cool. And as well as my other best friend, she was like, I'd be stoked to help you if you need anything. So most of my friends have been very supportive. I'm really glad that I didn't have anybody come up to me and stop talking to me because of this. I know that a lot of people do get a little bit jealous, and I'm really glad that that hasn't happened to me because my friends are just very genuine and nice about it.
Yeah, but we're very lucky because at some point in time, yeah, like my super close friends, they stopped talking to me. I don't know why, but they did. And you know, and that's why like my best friend now, she always stuck with me. I mean, I would let her go first. Second, she didn't stop talking to me. She gets it because like when we're on the call or something, or she's over and I'm like, oh shoot, I have a meeting. She's like, you know what? Take the meeting. I'm just gonna be sitting here. Or you know what? Do whatever you want. Just call me back when you can. So she understands rather than being like be on the phone with you 24/7 lady. That's not the way that she goes about it. But I feel like I'd really love to, you know, like sometimes privately talk about this moving part because I mean I move a lot and I may be moving again. And our main thing is because Zara's always over and I'm always over at her place. So we do like almost every weekend and always weekdays whenever we miss each other because we're 5 minutes away. And I'm like, if I move, then what will happen? What will happen? Yeah. So are you there? I can't see you moving.
Hi. Oh, you froze there for a second, but you're back now, I think.
Yeah, you froze here for me as well. So you were saying.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with your point. And moving is a hard thing. You know, I initially realized I was really scared. And so I stopped talking to her. I did that mistake of not telling her how I feel. And I was like, you know what? It's fine. You know what? You'll move. It's okay. And I think moving really tests your friendship and like how good it is because she's moved and it's been 6 months and we're still really close. So moving isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it definitely hurts and it takes some time to get used to. So I wish you the best of luck in your moving process.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you know, I get asked this question a lot, and I feel like a boring old person, though I'm younger than you. I feel like a boring old person asking this, but do you still get to be a kid? Because like, you know, my parents, they make sure like they bought me premium Netflix, they buy me premium like, you know, Amazon and stuff, and they're like, you know what, watch it, still be a kid, don't grow up. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So all of that, because again, somewhere in their minds, it's just going on about what if she grows up way too fast, she's not able to process, she's not able to like live through these vital moments in her life. And sometimes I think I'm like, oh my God, I'm thinking like a 40-year-old about all that could go wrong. And then I just like, you know, loosen up and have fun. So what about you?
Yeah, I definitely had that experience where I had people over And then I was like, oh my God, I have a meeting now. And they're like, they just looked at me and I was like, don't, it's okay. Like, I know what I sound like, but nonetheless, I think that it's truly important to actually live through your childhood. And I feel like I'd say they're half and half. It's really a balance because they would be like, you should be punctual for your meetings, be ready like 20 minutes before, okay? Like if you're not ready 20 minutes before, something's wrong. But at the same time, they're always like, you should hang out with your friends. I want you to still be comfortable enough and just loosen up and have fun. And so I think they have a good work ethic. Both of my parents have a very good work ethic as they both work and they're pretty busy people. And so I think over the years, they've kind of like found out how to balance this and they're really helping me out with it. So I'd say that they're still, you should have fun, but be a little more punctual, be ready, always be organized for your things. And yeah, it's great support so far.
Amazing. I mean, that's very nice to know. Also the supportive part, because I mean, I feel like you need your parents' support in order to do this. Not just like with the work, because my dad's my manager. He's my publicist. He's
Right.
the guy that helps me out with stuff. And you know, I have epic mood swings and stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to work. Do it for me. Do it for me. I I have my diva moments now. And I feel like my dad really helps me through it. And I feel like because of that, am I so like grounded? Because I mean, imagine like if we both imagine we're two young ladies that are entrepreneurs, are working for change, are working for impact, are talking to people from around the world and are inspiring people from around the world. So we have a lot to brag about. And you know, we could just be like flying off and doing that. I feel like it's our parents. I mean, my younger brother is like 6 years old, and we have a huge age difference. I'm like 8 years older than him, so but otherwise, I mean, he too a little bit helps me just be like, you know what, for us to always be the same goofy person, you'll be the same Raheen.
I agree with that totally.
No, like, has there been like any pleasant changes in how they like treat you, or are you the same Netra for them?
I'd say that, you know, I definitely agree with that. You know, my dad has been like a serious support, and I think he just keeps pushing me because, like, naturally, I'm not that type of person that, you know, will go for something, and I'm not like the take risk, try new things. And I'm also I'd say I'm a shy person. So when it came to my first webinar, I was like in tears. I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm scared. I'm nervous. And it really did keep me grounded. So I totally agree when you say that they ground you, and it's a really good thing to have you supported by them. And my sibling hasn't really changed. You know, she's still pretty off the rails, pretty crazy. I definitely feel like there's been times where I'll be thinking about everything I have to do, and I'm just kind of stressing, and then she'll just come in and she'll be like, hey, play cards with me. It's so simple. I don't have to do anything to show how much I appreciate in my life. It's a simple game of cards, and sometimes I forget that. I forget that you just need to spend time with them. You just need to show them how much you appreciate them. And I think that she definitely reminds me of how to just be a person, be a human being sometimes. So it's really good for me.
That's amazing. And you're so lucky to have a younger sister. I mean, I don't have a sister. So I mean, I feel like God, but like with sharing stuff, I'm like, get away. This is my stuff.
Little bit, territorial.
Yeah. I am, a little bit. I would say that. But the thing is, when you have a sister, that's not humanly possible that you keep all your girly things away. So I feel like, okay, yeah, God knows me too well, and that's exactly why He didn't give me a sister. Now it makes all sense. And I might like sound a little, super old interviewing question again.
Yeah.
I've been interviewed so many times, and this is, there's like 2-3 staple questions: your mom and dad support, and your childhood. Are you missing out? Are you growing up? And the third is, what about your education? So like, are you still studying full-time school? Are you physically going to school or like online? So fill me in.
I'd say that I'm going to school like full time. I'm planning to finish my 13 years. I'm currently on the 11th year. So I'm planning to like go through it and finish out with a diploma because, I think that that's really important. I'm all about education. You should get that education as well. And I kind of have a balance between things. So I wouldn't say that I'm that busy and I haven't invested all of my time into my organization. I'm doing it as a side project. So that does make things like balancing education and the organization a bit hard, but I do pull through eventually. I think really important management skills. Like it's really important to actually get your things done on time and to just be organized about everything. And so it's been hard at times. Obviously, I'll be thinking about everything I have to do. I'll get stressed and I'll just like completely shut down and not do any work. And then I'll get back into the routine. I think another thing that's really important is routine. So currently I am a full-time student. I'm not thinking of taking off or maybe dropping out early. That's definitely not my plan. And I want to run this initiative maybe into college. I don't know if I would be able to or I'd lose interest or anything, but I think the passion is still strong and I want to run this initiative for as long as possible, really.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and I feel like honestly, with my work, to what I learned in school, like a lot of different things, I'm actually able to apply that, sometimes with writing, sometimes with reading, sometimes with, well, very very little with math, mostly time calculation. So I mean, I feel like I'm able to do that, and that's beautiful. You're frozen. Are you able to hear me? Please tell me yes. Looks like they're not. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Cool. No, I just went on and I'm just like looking at you. I'm like, are you there or not?
I think I was just frozen. You were frozen as well. I think it's just bad connection, but it's completely all right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've been there. We've all been there in that, oh God, my connection's bad today thing. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, how many times I've said, oh, sorry, you're muted. All those sort of things. Oh, because of Zoom, I feel like, yeah, it's just like one other bad connection. It isn't a big deal.
Yeah, no, I had a recent webinar where the speaker herself, she said it at the beginning. She was like, it's raining here in Singapore. The connection will be bad. And at one point she just completely froze. And I was like very stressed out. I was like, oh my God, is she coming back? And I took a minute. Obviously connection issues it's normal. It's online, it's Zoom, it's global. And I just took that minute and she came back, after a while though. But yeah, connection. It's part of my daily vocabulary now to say, hi, are you still there? Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got to do this. I remember once what happened. I was like very stressed out because I wasn't at home. I was at my cousin's place, right? So because they were all there and I'm there and I'm like, I gotta do this session because I've been like super stoked about it for like 2 months. I've gotta host all right. And I'm like, you know what, guys, I know today's it was one of my cousins, it was his birthday, and I know it's your 18th, but I'm kind of gonna be locked in the room, right, for like 2 straight hours, and then I'm gonna be right back just in time for your birthday. Okay, turns out my main guy, there were 3 people. One person showed up. One person's like, oh, sorry, I confirmed, but then I just realized, oh shoot, I cannot do it. Then my main person said, oh, because I mean, I understand there were California fires going on and all, and the whole internet just went down there. So I couldn't call him, I couldn't text him, I couldn't do anything.
Understandable. Yeah.
And I was going mad, and because of the celebration and all, we were moving. There's so much like drama happening, one place to another, and I was so stressed out. And I'm like, how am I gonna do that? Because I had to prepare a presentation on it because it was my summer school project, and I'm like, wow, amazing! Isn't that just how it's planned? I mean, things go never as they're planned. I believe that by now.
You learn that. You learn that with experience. You learn how to cope with it as well. You don't like completely break down. You're like, nope, sorry, can't do this today. You learn how to kind of deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and what can happen can happen. So you never know, right? Thank you so much, Netra, for being on. It was a true pleasure to have you on. I feel like it was so nice. And it was, I think, because it was really recorded, so we're like, okay, we've got to be all professional and everything. But I feel like we could be amazing friends because we both understand, like, each other's schedule and everything. And I think we're also able to, relate to each other because, well, we're two girls that are, well, almost the same age and want to make impact. And are trying to juggle everything all at once with the work that they're super passionate about. So, yeah. What's the last message that you'd like to give out?
I kind of want to give out this message that I think a lot of speakers in their webinars have given out this message as well. There will always be people that don't support you, that don't think what you're doing is good. But I think if you're really passionate enough, you really should go for it, because if you're passionate enough, you will do a good job. I know that a lot of my teachers have said, don't go into jobs that you don't want to do, because you'll invariably not want to do the job and you'll end up doing a bad job. So if you're really passionate about something, go for it. Don't listen to other people. Criticism is something standard, and sometimes you should take it, but take it with a grain of salt. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Netra, for being on. Please stay back after the recording ends. Thank you so much for everybody that's been watching. Anybody wants to reach out, feel free to do that for the both of us through LinkedIn. And until next time, and definitely we're going to be coming back with more focused topics. Thanks.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, Netra, please, can you turn off the recording now?
Let me just.